In the studio there, it was quite loud, but apparently, from what I hear also of persons who just heard the show, it was not as loud when it was actually transmitted onto the air. And I presumed that I was speaking into a directional mic and that the mic was away from the audience, and this is why it wasn't. This is the only time I have ever had a very extremely rude audience, and I think that I would like to make a point about this, because I do find that whether they believe it or not, I think that New York people think they're sophisticated and progressive and all of that, but they are not. The East Coast here is the conservative part of our country. And
when you use the word conservative, you mean that politically?
No, religion.
Or in religion?
In religion. This is the basis of the conservative religious movement. It is not down south, because the audiences are much more receptive there. I had less trouble in Alabama. Well, Texas, Utah, Colorado, California especially. Even Utah, which is absolutely dominated by the Mormon Church, I had no difficulty in it at all with audiences or the kind of reception that I get. But Harvard, and of course the famous state of Maryland, and now Johnny Carson.
Well, that's home state.
I'm at home away from home right now.
I know that. We had, since you were on, Madalyn, we had really a very exciting show. We had Gary McCowan on, who has written a book that, and he is a Catholic, incidentally. In fact, he attended the seminary for a while, and there was kind of a debate whether he was a dropout or a put-out. And Gary is still a Catholic, but his book, Synod 67, I think was the title of it.
Oh, I think I might have heard of it.
This was, they were somewhat critical of him. When I say there, we had Father Gomar de Paul from home. And we had the gentleman that you hate exquisitely, Dr. Thomas Molnar. And we had Will Outler, whose father wrote the Bible.
Yes.
And
I still think he's a very funny man.
He is.
Yes.
His father or Will?
Will.
But it got so rough about 3:30 in the morning. Somehow, Father Gomar de Paul accused Will Outler of being a second-rate journalist. And Will jumped up and second-rate priest. And people started to pack their attaches, cases. They noticed, though, there were still some goodies from Carnegie, so everybody sat down again. You know what I mean? So we completed the sandwiches, and then they left later. But it was wild.
I'm delighted to hear that, because
just a wild show.
I think that we do have to have confrontations just constantly in America, and I think that there has been entirely too much suppression of particular subjects. Certainly in the name of sophistication, the entire subject of religion has not been explored in the way that it should be explored, because it's just, crochet or something like this to talk about religion.
Well, I must admit,
This isn't true. It should be explored in depth.
There's been only 2 stations that I've been associated with in my career, and it's run into thousands of hours, some 25,000 hours. One was WOR, which is owned by the General Tire and Rubber Company, and the president of that is Tom O'Neill, who was knighted by the late Pope, and even his interest in Catholicism never filtered down to tell me that I couldn't do controversial shows on religion. And when an offer was made to me to come to NBC, everybody told me, don't go because you'll be in trouble. They'll buy out your contract and all. But I must say that they have been absolutely marvelous and have never been critical of, except sometimes of my performance, but never of the subject being discussed. And I've been here now, it'll be 4 years in August. And I think there's a lot more freedom in radio and TV today than what it was 10, 12 years ago.
Well, the entire talk shows, I think, are offering a challenge to the horrendous material on television that people do have to turn away from the television set nowadays because of the poor quality of the programs. And you do pick them up, certainly in automobile radios. Incidentally, many of the talk shows that I'm on, people will stop their automobiles and call from pay stations. They get so angry with me.